Hello, everybody. I'm back. Been away for, well, went a show last week. Has it been 2 weeks? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not for sure. It been kind of wild. Most of the time Thursday nights, which is, you all know, my Fridays are pretty calm. You know, get off work, I do some things with the dogs, I eat some supper, research some show material, come up with an idea, and put on the show. Well, there's been a few Thursdays that were just kind of pushed to the limit. That's a good way to put it. Pushed to the limit. And I didn't do shows, but that's okay because I'm back tonight. And I think, hey there, Garthok B7B. Doing all right tonight? I hope. Uh, what was I saying? Let me get rid of this little thing right here. Hectic Thursdays. That's okay because I'm back tonight. Huh. I was going somewhere with all that. Anyway, I'm back tonight, and I know where I was going. Good. I wonder if Roberto's going to show up. He might show up later. Uh, the Winter Olympics are happening, or have happened. I kind of like the Winter Olympics a little bit more than the Summer Olympics because I like winter. Uh, we've had some snow this year, and it's been cold, and I've enjoyed it. I really have. And it's nice to have, uh, to me, a real winter is when you have snow, you have cold, and everybody fusses. Oh man, it's so cold. I can't wait to spring. Well, that's what I like to say. You can't have spring and summer without a winter. Then you just be in Florida all the time. That'd be no good. So, I've enjoyed some of the winter. Uh, I'm going to say it. I'd like to see at least one more snow where we get snow on the ground. Doesn't have to get into the 20s or teens. Just, some more white stuff makes everything calm and quiet. But right now, my front yard is like a sponge. I mean, it's rained all day today. It never really dried out from the snow, and it's a sponge. And one of the things I'll say about winter that doesn't really happen because we don't have like a full-blown winter season where it gets cold, it stays cold for, a longer period of time is the bugs. The bugs are already out, man. It's not even spring. The bugs are already out. I don't like it. But what can you do? You could move north and have feet of snow. No, we don't want to do that. We're just going to live with the bugs. But Winter Olympics. I like Winter Olympics. I mean, I like the skiing. I even like the snowboarding. I've been watching some of the snowboarding, videos and things they put out on Facebook and Instagram and all those kind of things. It's crazy. It really is crazy. And it's dangerous. Have you heard about the girl that crashed, I guess, on the downhill? Ah, terrible. But you want to compete at that level, bad things can happen. And I know they understand that, but still, it's bad when it happens. So, I don't know the backstory. I just heard it on the radio as I was going to work one day that there was some kind of big hoopla, I guess, for lack of a better term, in probably one of the most safe winter sports, uh, curling. Now, If you don't know what curling is, that's okay, because we're going to talk about some of that. But to me, it's kind of like a wintertime shuffleboard game. We're going to look at the rules. We're going to look how it's scored. We're going to catch a video, and I'll have to say I asked Gemini, that's Google's AI, to find me a video that I could play on the air. We could talk about it, that won't get pulled down by YouTube because of not necessarily copyright infringements. I can't remember the term. It got my lakes at the bottom of the ocean video got pulled because they used a BBC video and talked about it. But I think it's found me a couple, so I can, I used to just pick them, man. I just do a search and get them, show them. Never in the couple of years I've been doing these things, I've been watching, and I don't make videos on curling. They're out there, and I thought, I'll just find, whatever. We'll talk about it, watch it. Give people the credit for their video, and that's always worked out except for that one time. Now I've gotten kind of a little gun shy, a little skittish, as they like to say. And skittish is not a Yiddish word. It's just an old country term. So playing it, a little bit safe, not just, crazy, all that stuff. All right. So curling, I can't really explain it. It's like three guys or gals. I don't think of that. I don't know. Maybe they've got co-ed. I don't know. But they take this big old puck-looking thing, and I guess I wouldn't think they have maybe they do have a special ice rink or an ice section, alley, whatever you want to call it, for this. Because the ice, I think, is really, of course, the Zamboni smooths the ice. So they might do it right out in the middle of the hockey rink. I don't know. Maybe they only have one rink for figure skating and ice skating and hockey and curling. I'm not sure. I'm not up on the Winter Olympics. I just like to watch, the sports. But the ice has to be smooth, and the Zamboni, of course, probably smooths that out. But like I said, it's kind of like that, or maybe even a little bit like bowling, because one person takes this huge, didn't know what it was, but I think it's made out of special granite. We'll look at that too. And how they deliver it, they push it, however you want to say it. They don't throw it, they don't pick it up, it's on the ice, it's got a cool little handle on top, and this person just glides along the ice with this huge, it weighs 44 pounds. I'll give you a sneak preview peek of that. It weighs 44 pounds. And they get this thing, this big old thing, sliding across the ice, and they just so easily let go of it. All right, so now in bowling, and I'm just going to use this for an example, you rear back. If you bowl, don't, shoot me bad reviews or whatever by saying they rear back and sling that thing down the alley at the pins, okay? And follow through and form, is everything. But with curling, I think they take that to the extreme because you got to be flexible. We'll watch this in the video. You've got to be flexible. Those people are down on one leg. They're dragging one leg behind them. They've got the arms outstretched, and they stay that way pretty much for that whole puck's travel down the ice. It's almost like, if they move, it's going to disrupt the path of this thing. And what intrigues me is they don't shove that thing. They just kind of, just like a breath of air, just let that thing go. And there it goes. And what the other cool thing of this is, two, maybe three, in one video I was watching, there was 3 people. They have push brooms, man. Scrub brushes. There we go. They're like scrub brushes. And they are just frantically sweeping the ice in front of this puck. I'm going to call it a puck. It's got a name. And man, they're just going to town on the ice to smooth the ice so that travels at the right momentum. And basically what he's trying to do, like horseshoes or cornhole, I know I'm throwing a lot of games into this because it incorporates, I guess, some aspects of lots of different games. But there's a target. Target's called the house. Why? I don't know. I have no idea. They call it the house. And this puck, I'll get the real name, just travels down the ice so smooth, and those people are just sweeping a path like nobody's business to get that to go as close to or inside the circle, the bullseye at the house. And that's how it's scored. And like almost any other game, horseshoes again, cornhole again, what did I say before? I done lost it now. The other game where they're sliding the pucks with a stick outside. Help me out, Garthog. What did I say earlier? Reminded you of something? What is that? Daggone it. Anyway, you bump the other people, the other team's puck, and there's just 2 teams, right? They bump theirs out of the circle to reduce their score and improve their, my team's score. So they're aiming that to try to get it as close to the circle as they can. Well, it's kind of like croquet, but the game I mentioned earlier has round discs, shuffleboard. There you go. I knew somebody had some memory cells left in their brain. My chair's, I'm having to fight my chair. It wants to roll this way, because it's got the little casters on it, and they're turned a certain way. But I want to go forward, so when I do this, I end up going over here. My life's a struggle. Can you tell? It's a struggle. Every little thing. I can't even just inch my chair up without it wanting to deviate. But anyway, is it fun to watch? Yeah, I think it is. I think it's fun to watch because they really get into it. And the problem with bouncing somebody else's stone or puck or whatever the name is out is, physics. You bump that one goes this way, but that affects the trajectory of yours. Here we go, another game, pool. The same thing. You hit one ball with the cue ball, it goes one way, but the cue ball has to go someplace too. So whoever is pushing that thing is trying to find the target, trying to nudge somebody else out, trying to just give it just the right amount of momentum to do the work, to get there, to stop, because you can't touch it. You pitch it too hard, it goes all the way out the other side. Not hard enough, it doesn't even get into the circle. You hit that guy's, rock hard enough to knock it out, it might knock yours out the other way. So it has to have a lot of skill. I mean, you've got to have pushed a lot of those things down the ice to get a feel for that. And that's all it is. I mean, you know, there's no mechanism to help you pick the same force every time, or a little more, a little less, depending on the circumstances. It's all on feel. And it's crazy. And I say it's crazy. There's a lot of winter sports that are crazy. Traveling downhill on a pair of skis, ducking in and out of gates, poles, trying to, you know, nudge them with your arm so that you can cut off time and, you know, not go completely around them, but edge them out of the way is another crazy sport. Okay, it's called a rock or a stone, weighing 38 to 44 pounds, and are crafted from specialized rare granite, quarried primarily in Scotland. Correctamundo. And I think 44 pounds was, I don't know, maybe they can pick them. I don't know the exact Olympic rules. Maybe they can pick one from 38 to 44. But yeah, the granite is special. We'll find out a little bit about the history, but they believe, and how they believe this is beyond me. Because what I found, you know, doing a little research, maybe there's documentation, you know, I say documentation, maybe they carved it into stone somewhere, wrote some stuff down to say, hey, you know, this is what we started doing on this day, but it started in Scotland, as a lot of things do on frozen ponds, because you're looking for something to do when you can't, you know, grow crops, or, you know, you're trying to keep your cattle alive and you just need a break, or sheep or goats, or whatever it is in Scotland. You know, they're raising or herding, trying to make money with in the spring and summertime. Wintertime, boring, not a lot to do. So of course you're going to go out on the frozen ponds and make up games. And it probably started out somewhere as a kid's game, or a challenge by, you know, a couple of drunk guys. Who knows? So let's look at a little bit of the history. Get this cut thing out of my way. Well, let's do this real quick. Nothing super quick here. We're going to watch this video. I don't know. Let's see. Let me get myself out of the way, like I always do. And that, my friends, is too big. It won't fit on the screen. Have to figure out something about that. Why do you keep doing that? Let me start it here. Just a second. I think this is in French. All right, can I? Oh my gosh. I can. There it is. All right. So start right off the bat. This is one of the guys with the scrub brush sweeping ice in front of the rock, or in the stone. And I don't know. I'm going to turn the volume on. This is from TV Mountain. And according to Gemini, this is copyright free, we're going to say. Let's see what it says. I think it's in French. Alright, so here's the guy They're into it. There's the stuff button. Oh!
On a essayé de relancer notre 36e tournoi du
Sounds like French, maybe. It could be any other language. I don't know. But you saw what I was talking about. They're down low on that ice. I mean, knees, legs. They're not just standing over that thing and scooting it as they go down through there. That part, because I can't do it, that part is, and I can't sweep the ice that fast. Those people are just, tearing it up. Okay, so let's see. All right. So this is what I asked Rock. I asked it, I said, what is the sport? 'Cause who named it curling? It goes in a straight line. There's no curl to it. Anyway. So I asked it what it was, and it said it's curling. Often called chess on ice, where players slide heavy, polished granite stones toward a circular target called the house. So the breakdown. The stone weighs about 44 pounds. It has a handle on top to help the player give it a slight curl or spin as it releases. Let's see. No, this is another video we're going to watch. Let's get back to where this player is just letting go of this thing. I mean, she looks like, well, I bet she's fun a That looks like it's more than right. That it does, it kind of rotates. I don't know why it calls it curling. Sweeping. So the teammates you see frantically scrubbing the ice with brooms. They're actually melting a thin layer of ice to reduce friction. This helps the stone travel further and stay on a straighter path. The goal is to get your stone closer to the center of the house, the button, closer to that button than your opponent's stone. It's one of the few sports where you can see elite athletes screaming at the ice while holding brooms. All right, so Garthog says curling is a stone spun clockwise actually curves to the right. So one of the things I was going to see if Jim and I mentions, Garthog talks about the spin of the stone can actually make it break. I guess if you spin it clockwise, breaks to the right. I bet you if you spun it counterclockwise, it would probably break to the left. But I think this is where some of the sweeping or the scrubbing of the ice can really come into play. Because like it's talking about, Jim and I was talking about, is they're going so fast that it actually, the friction melts a little of the top layer of the ice and makes it slicker. I've understood in past from watching it and hearing stories about it, that the sweepers can actually affect the course of the stone slightly by clearing a path a little this way or a little that way, which would make sense because once the stone starts to get out of the slick ice onto some rougher surface, we'll say, that hasn't been swept, it's going to affect, physics. It's going to affect the way the stone behaves on the ice. So As I understood it, the sweepers can play a pretty good part in doing it, because you'll see, if we get to see, I haven't pre-watched these videos, but you'll notice that they don't go in always straight in front of the stone. Sometimes they'll, go to the one side or the other of the stone. It seems like the stone kind of follows that. All right. Garthok says they aren't just cleaning the ice, they're actually manipulating the friction of the ice by the friction, rubbing your hands together, it gets warm. As fast as they're rubbing those scrub brushes on the ice, I'm sure it makes a thin layer of, smooth ice, or maybe even slick with water, melted ice a little bit. So, let's see. So the history. It began on frozen marshes and lochs, a lake or a pond, in late medieval Scotland. The Roaring Games, as it was first called, and if you notice that, I don't know, let me scoot that over because you can't really see all of it. Jim and I made the thumbnail, of course, and it titled it, I didn't ask it to title it, it called it the Roaring Game, and that's what it was originally called, apparently. And here's a little tidbit that I don't understand. There's got to be more to this part. But anyway, the first evidence of curling dates back to the early 16th century. A stone inscribed with the date 1511 was found at the bottom of a pond in Stirling, I'm assuming Scotland. Okay, so this makes it sound like that one stone found at the bottom of a pond with 1511 scratched on it was when, curling was started. There's got to be something else there to back that up. Some kind of folklore, some kind of word of mouth. Did you see the Roaring Game they had the other day on the loch? And them two fellows were out there throwing stones on the ice. I don't know. There's got to be more to that story than just finding the stone at the bottom of a pond. Anyway, that's what they're going with. Part of it, I'm sure. It was called the Roaring Game because the sound the stone makes as they travel over the pribble, or water droplets on the ice. And I'm sure that's like, you slide a stone against a table or something like that, it gets that, the sound of the friction, it echoes off the surface. So the rocks back then weren't polished. They were just finger stones, large, flat-bottomed river rock chosen for their size and weight. So I guess, let's just say you're a farmer in Scotland, and you're picking up these stones and putting them aside because it's, you're clearing out the creek bed, or you're, making room for a new pond, or your cattle or goats or sheep keep tripping on them, so you're laying them aside. And then in the wintertime, it's frozen, and there are the stones laying there. Well, maybe one of them picked it up and said, I wonder if the ice is thick enough to walk on. So he picks up a big rock and shoves it across the ice. And of course, it goes out there and stops. Whoa, it didn't fall in. Let me throw another one. Shoves it out through there and boom, bumps into the other one and shoots it off. Oh, well, that was pretty cool. And maybe, I don't know, I'm making this all up right off the top of my head. Hey, another guy says, well, that looks like fun. Let me try. I don't know. Who knows what they did? They were bored. It was wintertime. And they had a bunch of rocks sitting around that were finger stones, large, flat-bottom river rocks chosen for their size and weight. All right, so where can you see? Here we go. As the sport grew in popularity, players realized they needed actual rules, of course, because, people were cheaters, and they still are. The first club, Kilsyth Curling Club, was officially formed in 1716. Around the mid-1800s, people started using circular machine stones. All right, so here's a question that pops into my mind. Other than the curling stone, I wonder what they were machining stones for, and how do you machine a stone? Is it as simple as, rubbing another stone on top of it to make one stone smoother than it was? Is that machining? Did they have chisels? Did they have files? And why were they machining stone? It talks here like, oh yeah, everybody used to machine their stones. Okay. Around the 1800s, people started using circular machine stones. Most of these came from a single island off the coast of Scotland called Elisa Craig, which produced a specific type of water-resistant granite that doesn't crack easily. So they went from just river rock stone to specialized granite stones that is water-resistant and doesn't crack easily. They put a lot of thought into this, and then they machined the granite, which is, well, it's hard rock. It's hard stuff. But they machined it. They picked it for its qualities just to play this game. I mean, it didn't take long for them to really get serious about this. And didn't they invent golf? Didn't Scotland? I mean, these people play hard. They get out in the winter on frozen lakes and push 44-pound stones across the ice, and then in the spring, the summertime, they get out there and swing weighted sticks, at little balls, and it's all in good fun. So in the 1900s, Scottish immigrants took the sport with them wherever they went, especially Canada, which is now the undisputed powerhouse of the curling world. But spoiler alert, I believe the U.S. beat Canada in one match that I was watching, I guess for gold. And it may have been the women's. May have been the women's curling. It was part of the very first Winter Olympics in 1924 in France, but it disappeared as an official medal sport for 74 years. It finally rejoined the permanent Olympic program in 1998 in Japan, when they had the Winter Olympics in Japan in 1998. So it was, I guess people, it's not very exciting. Another thing that I started to do the show on this, and here again, I'm not sure what its name is, but it's where they cross-country ski, and they get to it, they all go to a point, and they take off these super-de-duper expensive, I think in 22 rifles, and shoot at a target after cross-country skiing. But I don't know how many shots they get. Then they put the rifle back on their back, and they take off to the next station to take another shot. So I guess, games like that, skiing, sledding, ice hockey, overtook, or more action. I won't say action packed. Watching a guy cross country ski and then shoot at a target and then go off again. It's tough. I'm sure it's not easy because you're winded. Then you got to make a perfect shot. But eventually it came back. Curling was there, then it fell away, and then it came back. What is this on my leg? It's a box. All right. So it was gone. It started in 24. Something happened. It was gone for 74 years. It came back in 1998. So the scoring, the house is a 12-foot wide circular target. That's a pretty good sized target. The button is the very center. An end, like an inning in baseball, each team throws 8 stones per end. Only one team can score per end. You get 1 point for every stone that is closer to the button than the opponent's best stone. So, who's closer to the bullseye? That's the deal. Kind of like horseshoes, uh, not like cornhole. Cornhole, you don't get any more points for getting close to the hole as you do for just being on the board. All right. To score, the stone must at least be touching the outer blue ring, biting the house. If no stones are in the house, the score is 0-0 for that end. So they throw or push or deliver 8 stones per end. That's a lot. It doesn't say how many ends. Okay. It doesn't tell me how many ends they play. Maybe they just play one. Maybe that's the whole game. I don't know. Then it wants to know, Gemini wants to know, it wants me to find a curling club close to me so I can throw some stones myself. We may look at that and see if there's where the nearest curling facility is close to Upper East Tennessee. Then I asked Gemini to make me a picture. And I always find this interesting. Maybe you all don't. Turn the volume down right now because I'm going to talk about this. I asked it to make me a picture for my thumbnail for the YouTube channel. And I've learned that you have to tell it the proper size and resolution or it just gives you something that doesn't even fit. So it titled it. I didn't ask it to name it anything. And it titled it, and I told it it was going to be the show, that gave it some prompts, as they like to call them. So it titled, you can see it there, The Roaring Game Curling Show with Mark Thompson. No idea. I have no idea where it came up with the name Mark Thompson and why it even gave it a name. And on top of that, why did it title it? I didn't ask it to title. I told it, hey, Roberto, there you are. You're late on the curling talk. You've been watching the Winter Games. We're talking about curling, the most exciting sport with brooms and stones you can have in the wintertime. But anyway, I don't know. Mark Thompson, where did it come up with that name? So I said, I like the picture basically, but get rid of the name Mark Thompson in the title. And that's how it came up with the one that I used. All right. Then I asked it to find me a video that wouldn't get me in trouble with YouTube. So it came up with the one we had been watching. Right. I watched some of them too, but most of the ones I'm finding is I'm at work and I've got a minute if I'm not doing something, jump on Facebook, see what motorcycles for sale or what else is on there, and then there'll be some reels or something. And lately they've been, a lot of them about the Winter Olympics, skiing and snowboarding, bobsledding, all that kind of stuff. And some of them are about curling. So we'll get back to this. Whoa, there's you. Sometimes you can't trust YouTube. Get over there. There we go. All right, let's watch a little bit more of these, what these fellas and gals are doing here. This is him shouting at the eye. How do they slide on time like that?
On a essayé de relancer
But they don't
notre
look like
36e
they're on
tournoi
the
donc, du Mont Blanc, si on peut dire.
I know. See, they're just, I guess they've got special shoes. Look how he's just sliding. He's an old dude. He can't stay in that pose forever. Now there's 3 people sweeping the ice. And you can tell the ice right there looks rough. But she's just, oh, he's having a hard time. Ah, there's his teammate. I got you. I got you. You know, that would be hard to do, the sweeping part, because you can't touch the ball or the stone, and you can't touch the opponent's stone. But you're in there really tight. Oh my goodness, look at little grandma out there. She's going to town too. There's the house, and there's the button. Oh, she's cheating. She's got a little thing to help her stance on the ice when she squatted down there so terrible. Oh, come on. Let's have a fight, right? Like hockey, let's have some action. Okay. We don't understand their language. Okay. So there's one question answered. I was wondering how that, right here. Y'all can see that, I'm sure. He's standing on some type of platform, like a launching platform. It doesn't launch him into space. But this is how he gets his initial traction, apparently, to start his push. And you notice he's going over one house down to the other end. It doesn't tell me how far the houses are apart or how far he has to push it. Let's see if it'll tell me. I know it'll tell me. How far is it to the house from the starting point? It's a grinding. It's a spinning its wheels. Okay. I knew there had to be more to this story than meets the eye. Here's the breakdown of the official measurements. The long shot, hack to the far house. The total distance is exactly 126 feet from the hack or your starting block. Okay. I have a starting block called the hack to the center of the far house, the butt. And as you saw in the video, where the hack is, you know, there's a house on that end and there's a house on the other end. And there's probably another hack on that other end because, you know, your 44-pound stones are on that end of the ice now once you finish the end, as they call it. So I was wondering what that noise was. It was the wifey poo coming home. Thought I had large rats bumping around in the house, but it's just her. What was that? Yeah, yep. So all the heavy stones are down on that end, and you're not going to bring them back to shoot them from the same side. So I'm sure they're all down here, and then they shoot them up that way, and then from that end down to this way. I don't know. That seems like the way they're doing it. The throw, in curling terms, they often say it is 42 yards from hack to tee. And I don't like it when they switch measurements on me. All right, so it's exactly 126 feet from the hack to the center of the far house or the butt. Then it switches to yards. It's 42 yards from hack to tee. The release point. You don't hold on to the stone the whole way. You must release it before you hit the hog line, which is 33 feet. So it went back to feet from your starting point. After that, the stone travels the remaining 93 feet on its own, with help from your sweepers. So 42 times 3 is 6, 12. 126 feet. It's 42 yards. Look at my math skills. Did you see that? But why does it say it's 42 yards from hack to tee when it says it's 126 feet from the hack to the center of the far house, the button? They don't call it the tee. I'm confused. Anyway, so you start out from the hack. You have to release your stone before it hits the hog line. These guys had to have been farmers back in Scotland. I crossed the hog line, which is 33 feet from their starting point or the hack. So these people are sliding along, starting at the hack, and there are the girls again. Don't get all excited. All right, so he's starting out here at the hack. He goes 33 feet to the hog line, and then Grandma's got to sweep another 96 feet to get it to the end. That's a long way. It really is a long way. And here they are, having a good old time. All right. So I guess before it was just telling me how it's scored. Now we'd know how the game is played. To give you a sense of the scale for my show, here's how the sheet of ice is laid out. All right. Scoot that over. To give you a, let's see, from point A to point B, hack to the near button is 12 feet. So the target that's closest to the hack is only 12 feet. From the hack to the near hog line, where you release, it's 33 feet. From the hack to the far hog line is 105. And why it's giving me the dimensions to the far hog line, I don't know. Because like we've already determined, there's a hack and a hog line on each end, and your target house is on the far end. That far end's hack's target is close to where you're at. You get the picture. You saw it in the video. Okay, from the hack to the far button is 126 feet. Full sheet, I'm guessing from hack to hack, from end to end, is 146 to 150 feet. So, pretty good chunk of ice. All right, and then it goes in, because I told it was for the show. It says, if you're explaining the sport, it's cool to mention that the stone is sliding roughly the length of 3 yellow school buses. Okay. Parked end to end. Because the granite is so heavy, 44 pounds, the players have to balance incredible strength, have to have balance. It doesn't make sense right here. The players have to balance incredible strength to get it that far from the touch required to stop it exactly in a 1-foot circle. All right, so the house is 12 foot. Can't see my hand. The house is 12 foot. The button is only 1 foot. The bullseye. Oh, well, yes, I would. Let's see if Jim and I can create me a simple diagram or a top-down image of the curling sheet with these labels for my video. How nice. Let's see. Yes, please. Let's see what it comes. Nano Banana is Jim and I's artistic side. Takes a long time to load a Nano Banana. All right. That's a long dead air pause right there. Robert likes bobsledding, hockey, skiing, luge. He likes luge. And curling is he thinks is cool. Yeah, I like all those. This is the one I found that was kind of, kind of out of left field. So I talked about the one where they cross country ski and then they shoot. I could see that. Practical purpose. I'm a hunter. I tell Robert, I can ski farther and shoot better than you can because I hunt moose or I hunt elk or I hunt, beaver tail. I don't know. But, something in the wintertime where you have to ski and then come up short, take aim and fire at some kind of, meal that you're hunting for. Curling just is, it's just pure entertainment. I don't see any practical purposes that it used other than just to help pass the time and give them something to do and bet against or get in fights over during the wintertime. But this, the reason I pause so long is I don't understand, and I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'm talking about Gemini. It looks like it's given me the near and the far side by side. So instead of making zoomed out enough to where you could see both points or condensing it and just putting in measurements, it's taken that, broke it in half, and laid it side by side so you can see the near hog line, the near tee line, far button target, far hog line, and another far hog line. Not very helpful. Not very helpful. That's AI for you. It's just a baby. It's just a baby. Don't worry. It'll get smarter. Let's watch this one. I haven't seen any of this one. I hope it is not
In Chamonix, the results of that competition were not considered official by the International Olympic Committee until 2006. Curling was a demonstration sport at the 1932 Games, and then again after a lengthy absence in 1988 and 1992. The sport was finally added to the official program for the 1998 Nagano Games. The related sport of ice stock sport was a demonstration.
There's not going to be any video. This is just probably a AI voice explaining that it was in the first Olympics, it was out, It came back in certain years as a spectator sport, meaning you could go and it was kind of a fun thing to watch when no other really interesting competition was taking place. And then when it showed that a lot of people were watching or going to these demonstration or observation curling matches, they then put it back into the Olympics as a medal sport. It wasn't just a demonstration sport anymore. It went back in as a medaling sport. And let's see. I'm going to ask it, where in Upper East Tennessee can I find a curling club? I don't know. It'll probably tell me you can't. I hope it tells me. I should have asked it where the nearest one was to Upper East Tennessee. Well, Knoxville might do it. Hey, they got an ice skating ring down there or a hockey team. Maybe we could start our own curling club and go to Knoxville and compete. I'm sure there would be thousands of people wanting to join our curling club. It's going to Google Maps. Oh boy. Go Google Maps. All right. There are no dedicated curling rinks directly in Upper East Tennessee, like Bristol, Johnson City, Kingsport. What? Now, I was just making fun. It says the closest option for you to try the sport is in Knoxville. Huh. It didn't look like it was that far on TV, Robert, because they're so elegant and they're so smooth. And it's just blowing your mind that this thing is just gliding along and those people are just sweeping the ice for that far, 93 feet, because they don't sweep it until it gets past the hog line. So, all right. So it says here the closest option for you to try the sport is in Knoxville. Great Smoky Mountain Curling Club is the primary hub for curling in the region, since they operate out of the arena, which I'm sure is ice hockey. Rather than a dedicated curling-only facility, they hold specific seasons for different skill levels. They offer popular Learn to Curl events where instructors teach hand-on basics like delivery, sweeping, and strategy. For those ready to play regularly, the club hosts various leagues, including a beginner league specifically for new members. All activities take place at the Ice Chalet at 100 Lebanon Street, Knoxville, Tennessee. Well, let's just take a tour and see where this is. What kind of web page do they have? New member beginning league. Whoa, easy now. Our beginning curling league is the perfect, next step for new curlers who want more ice time, more confidence, and more fun. No experience beyond Learn to Curl is needed. The league is designed just for you. Sign up today. Create a free account. All right. So, I'm sorry, people. I was so busy reading, I didn't realize that you can't see what's going on. So, May 29th through the 31st, Knoxville, the Rocky Top Open. It's $460 to enter per team, a 32-team open format, 3-game guarantee. First draw Friday, May 29th, finals on Sunday, May 31st. Questions, email the Rocky Top at curlknoxville.com. Well. The Ice Chalet at 100 Lebanon Street, Knoxville, Tennessee. Well, isn't that something? So learn to curl. If you're ready to try something new and exciting, our Learn to Curl events are officially live for signups. Come slide, sweep, and score with us this September. You'll learn the ropes of the unique and thrilling sport of our experienced instructors. Well, check it out. Olympic Learn to Curl is at full capacity. Full capacity. So that was February the 22nd. They were having one at 4 p.m. Full capacity. We're missing out. March the 1st, full capacity. 2, 3. March 22nd, full capacity. There's another on the 22nd. So, if you're wanting to learn to curl in Knoxville, you've got to wait till September the 20th when they're having, it looks like, the only open Learn to Curl class. Robert, you better sign up now. Garthog, me and you will go down there and watch him slip, fall, bust his butt on the ice. Fun times. I wonder how many spots they have open in a class, in a Learn to Curl class. Doesn't really say. Doesn't really say how many people are in a class. For all I know, it might be 5 people in a class. And by the time when they get 5 people, they say it's full. But there you go. Learn to Curl. Oh, that's me. Hey, me. Learn to Curl. Go to Knoxville, to the Ice Chalet. They have classes, but if you maybe you can get on a waiting list, but the open opportunity right now is not till September. That's bizarre to me. Here's one of the questions just popped into my brain. So you go down there and you go to the Learn to Curl class. Do they have rink shoes that you rent? I mean, you go to a bowling alley, right? They have lane shoes that you rent. You go to an ice skating rink, they have ice skates that you rent. You go to a roller skate rink, you rent your roller skates. I would guess that your $40 entrance fee for the class gets you shoe rental. You can't go out there on tennis shoes, right? They've got to have some kind of special shoe that they wear that slides along the ice and you don't trip and fall when you stand up and walk. It's got to be, maybe that's part of learning to curl is first thing you have to do is be able to walk across the, what do they call it, the sheet. You had to walk from one end to the other, 126 feet without falling and breaking something. Is your first lesson? Might be. I don't know. Well, there we have it. A couple of shows that I did in the past were short. This one is back on long again. I got long-winded. I get into some of these and there's just so many questions to ask. I don't, I can't answer my own questions. But anyway, Robert Garthok, I appreciate you coming as usual. Thanks for checking back in because I didn't send you. I was thinking, well, if I send them a message that I'm having one, or if I didn't send a message, maybe they'll just fall back into the routine and naturally show up, which you did. That means you guys are pretty smart fellers. Appreciate you showing up. And if you didn't see it live and you're watching the video, like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, and let me know if you've ever curled. Did you want to curl? You know, is that like a lifelong dream? Knoxville, what was it? Great Smoky Mountain Curling Club? Look them up. Go learn to curl. I like to ice skate. It's pretty fun. I like to roller skate. That's pretty fun too. But anyway, all right, so this here concludes the show for, what is it, February the 19th, 2026. Yeah, all right. Check back next Thursday, and probably be a new show. I can't guarantee it. Got lots of things going on right now, trying to get some things done before springtime. You know, if you look through my odds and ends playlist, you'll see where I had to fix my lawnmower, my granny's old mower, so I could mow my yard. And that's because my big mower broke down, and I promised myself I was going to tear down that engine this winter, figure out why it died, see if it can get fixed, so I can have my big mower back this spring. You think that's going to happen? Probably not. Probably not going to happen. What do you think is going to happen? I think I'm going to be mowing Granny's old mower again. Why don't I just go out and buy a new one? Because the stupid things are so much money. That's why. And if you buy a used one for $150, $200, I guess if you get a season or two out of it, you'll be ahead of the game. I don't know. I just hate spending money. I'm frugal. All right. Thanks again, guys and gals. Tune in next week. Let me see if I can find this stop streaming button. Press it once. Gives me a warning. Are you sure? Well, yeah.